welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Are we live? Does anybody know?
Still Valley, man.
Hey, welcome to our show. You're watching us on Verizon 32 everywhere, including Bethel Park, Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park. Every show's on YouTube. We've got almost 250 shows out there, I think, maybe even 251. Thanks for watching us tonight. Can't believe it started to drizzle on my way here in the heart of Bethel Park. We're up to new high. I think we're at like 32-23 on Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook. Thanks a lot for that. We appreciate it. We were at an outing. A lot of people already knew about us and were saying hi. They know all you guys, so that's always nice to hear. And I got a little library here, so we're going to start with what's on our mind. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Chip the Prophet Hayner. Smoking Jim Frazier. Zach Brenner. Little Z is here. And everybody was on time, folks. No delays. This is the first time in August, too. Oh, it's the first week. Little Z, what's on your mind?
Well, Levine, you know what's on my mind. This is the beginning of the month, so that's why everybody's on time this week. As the month progresses, Smoking Jim Frazier will...
Well, the tunnels will get closed again.
Are you serious?
That'll throw Jim for a loop. But what's really on my mind is, I know there's probably going to be a segment on this, but I just can't wait. I can't contain myself. We got boxing. We got boxing on Friday. We got boxing Saturday afternoon. We got boxing Saturday night.
Hey, Z, just to interrupt you, here's what I do now. I don't even put segments for after our few segments on the first half. We've gone so long. So you just ramble on because it's good stuff about boxing. All right? Run free.
All right, well, we'll get back to it. We got on Friday the 8th at the Consol Energy Center. It'll be the first ever boxing match ever at the Consol. Team Vasquez, Sammy Vasquez is stepping in, fighting probably one of his better challenges of his career to date against a guy that's 28-0 on down there on Friday night down at the Consol for Mike Tyson Promotions. Then, immediately following that fight, get a couple hours of sleep, wake up, make our way to Brooklyn, where Lightning Rod Salka fights Danny Garcia live on Showtime at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Saturday night. But meanwhile, while that's going on, back at the city of Pittsburgh, our esteemed colleague Jim Frazier will be trying to fill in some big shoes as he tries to attempt to do boxing during the day and make it to the cage fights at night over at the North Shore at Stage AE, Gladiators of the Cage. We'll see if he can pull double duty, folks, and if he can pull that off and hold the ship down for Pittsburgh Sportsline while we're in New York City and Brooklyn. We did have an extra seat, but that heavy money disappeared as that preseason game. I don't know if Smoking Jim went heavy money on the Bills in that exhibition game over in Canton, but he hasn't been the same since, folks. And that's what's on my mind, and I look forward to this great weekend of fights.
Thanks, Little Z. Appreciate you keeping almost one subject there.
And I think the Steelers also in New York that night, Saturday night, with you guys, I believe.
Well, that's New Jersey, East Rutherford. That's right. You mean the Jersey Giants.
Well, we might be staying in New Jersey. We might change in Jersey, take the train up to Brooklyn. It's safer that way, I hear.
That's what they call Atlantic City nowadays, huh?
Yeah, definitely. You're a smart man. All right, Smoking Jim Frazier, since you're here on time, you're well rested. You've been reading. Glad I gave you that reading material.
He's well fed, too.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green,
hey, here's a new pen.
You got to see Levine. Hey, just real quick, just a couple things. I hate to add. You made me add a little bit. First of all, the fights at Club Ivy on Saturday. Pittsburgh Sportsline Extended Edition out there. My co-host is going to be Angel Shafino. So she got some big shoes. She got some big shoes to fill in.
Hey, I think she's going to do just fine.
She got the pedigree.
She's going to do just fine.
I'm excited now. I'm excited too.
I might not go. I think I'm staying. We couldn't get her on normally.
But here's something. Al Levine, the Talking Machine, just threw this to me. I don't know how old this.
1977.
Well, that's 77, but
know
this
about
sheet
that
of paper here. But I tell you what, this is why people from Bethel Park and people from Gateway High School don't like Woodland Hills. Listen to the number of schools that they merged into for one school. Churchill, Edgewood High School, General Braddock High School, North Braddock High School, Scott High School, Rankin High School, Swissvale High School, Turtle Creek High School, East Pittsburgh High School, and Turtle Creek Union. And then you wonder why they should win every year.
We're going to revisit that.
We got to revisit that.
We'll talk about this.
But what's on my mind?
What's really on your mind?
Well, another thing, hey,
Go ahead,
Alan,
bring that
the
up.
talking machine, gave me some papers before
from Magoo?
1977.
before most of us was even alive. But I tell you, this is
I
great.
was working at the press.
He was working at the press, but you don't look like you were alive then because you're so young looking and so dark. As somebody
Shut this light off.
somebody
I'll show you.
called him yesterday, the colored guy.
Oh yeah, that was a classic.
But we got Midland, we got Dwight Collins here, we got Frank Rocco in the paper.
Bishop
For
Boyle.
Bishop Boyle, which is great, the coach for Green Bay Packers, supposedly played at Bishop Boyle. They didn't get much
McCarthy.
ink. Yeah, McCarthy. It was a great school.
Come on down to Duke's, and his jersey's hanging up in the bar down at Duke's.
His
Sports
high
Bar.
school, or
Yeah,
college, or
It's
pro?
high school.
Smoking
Okay.
Jim, I saw it.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw
Down
it.
to Duke's. Okay. If you get
there's
me in
some
the
good
Dukes,
eating
that'd
there.
be,
Oh, you can
that'd be
get
the
in
eighth
there.
wonder of the world. You
No.
get me in the Dukes.
No.
But I may have to sneak in one
We're gonna
time.
do a show at Duke's.
All right,
That's how we'll lure you in.
that'll get me in.
Good
But what's on my mind is this, and this wasn't on my mind. I had to type it into my phone on my way in. But a great day today for the Pittsburgh Courier, the Sheridan Broadcasting Network, which Brian Cook is affiliated with, for the first time in NFL Hall of Fame history. 3 players in the same class from traditionally black college universities went into the Hall of Fame. Claude Humphreys from Tennessee State, Aeneas Williams from Southern University, and Michael Strahan from Texas Southern. I took his black college card after that once he got to New York. But at one time he was a black college player.
Interesting.
And the reason, and somewhere that Bill Nunn is looking down and smiling on all of this, and just a little bit of a background for about 20 seconds, the Pittsburgh Courier used to pick, Bill Nunn was the managing editor at the time of the Pittsburgh Courier, and they would select the black college All-American team. And they did that all the way up till a few years back, and then Sheridan Broadcasting Network now picks the Black College All-Stars. And I tell you what, there's still a lot of talent there. Not as much talent as back in the day as Chip knows, because up until 1970, there was no black players ever played in the SEC, which is the Southern. What is the SEC?
Southeastern Conference.
Southeastern Conference.
And now
Whatever
they
it is.
dominated.
There wasn't no
And now
brothers
now
down
your
there.
brothers dominate the SEC.
So all the brothers never played at Alabama and Florida State and Kentucky
what you
and all
learned
those
on this
schools.
show.
They had to go to schools like Grambling and Southern and Texas Southern and Prairie View A&M, and now they're welcome down there. So really, it's a feather. Huh?
Coach Robinson.
Western Texas.
Western Texas, UTEP. So it's a feather in the cap to the guys who made it from the traditionally black colleges, and there's still talent.
Bethune-Cookman?
Believe it or not, Bethune-Cookman, and there's still talent down there, and that's what's on my mind. Congratulations, Hall of Fame, for putting them in.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. I'm glad I brought some show and tell for you. You know that.
Thanks, I love it.
I never saw you read so much before a show.
No, man, I tell you
Except
what.
when you had pictures. I'm not going to bring out any pictures. I won't tease you with any pictures with her. It's all right.
She looked good on TV too, brother.
Not as good as
Did
those
you?
pictures right there. Maybe because it was midnight and just trying
Maybe
to.
it's because she was a little younger. Just like you, my friend, you won't be 30 all the time.
Hey.
For all you folks out there watching, I'm getting older as we speak. I don't know how that works in
Hey,
life.
he drinks a lot of green tea, coconut oil.
You
All
got
kinds
it.
of stuff, man. He looks good for his
You've
age.
seen it. Thanks. It's tough being this old on this crew, but Chip the Prophet Hainer, let's get to what's on your mind
What's
here.
on my mind? Well, I'm going to kind of follow suit with my two esteemed colleagues to my left. Zach stayed strong with his best suit, boxing. And Jim, of course, recognized the football end of things because Jim's our expert evaluator.
Yeah,
of
but
NFL
he sees different things that I see. I see
Well,
everybody looks the same.
Being that I am the baseball guru of Pittsburgh Sports Line. That's where I'd like to stay because it has been one heck of an exciting weekend for Major League Baseball and for the Pittsburgh Pirates in particular. Pirates had quite an eventful series in Arizona this past weekend.
Yep.
Some shenanigans going on, which bring into question some of the old unspoken rules of baseball. Then to give you a quick rundown of the events on Friday night, we scored 8 runs in the 8th and 9th inning. Went up 8-1 on the Arizona Diamondbacks.
It was beautiful to watch.
And so we put in our one of our least effective relievers, Ernesto Frieri, who can't seem to find the strike zone. And, he's pitching the 9th inning, so Kurt Gibson puts his MVP caliber candidate, who had not played all night, put him to bat in the 9th inning of a meaningless game, and Ernesto Frieri was trying to pitch him inside. And happened to hit him in the hand, broke his ring finger, subsequently ending his season. So the top star player for the Arizona Diamondbacks got hit. Was it intentional? Probably not. Frieri said when they interviewed him Saturday, he said, look, if you look at what my ERA is, I'm not looking to put guys on base. My ERA is high enough. So, that being said, the unwritten rule in baseball is, okay, we hit their star, expect our star to get hit. So the game's played on Saturday night, but prior to the game, I do believe the umpires had warned both benches that if any players got hit. So generally what happens when you plunk some team's star, then the very next time that team gets to bat, you plunk theirs, okay? Case closed. A perfect example of that was a couple of weeks ago when the Dodgers played the Pirates. They hit McCutchen, Justin Wilson, boom, he hit theirs. There was no Brent's clearing balls. He got ejected. It was all over and said and done with. Mm-hmm. So, once again, we get into the 9th inning of where the Pirates scored 8 runs again in the 8th and 9th inning, and they were up substantially. So their fireballing closer throws a pitch very inside. It was down near the knees, and he missed hitting Andrew McCutchen. Okay, so, McCutchen digs back into the box and he throws him a slider low and away, which if you're trying to hit the batter, you're not going to pitch him away. So McCutchen drops his guard thinking, all right, he's going to pitch to me. I'm going to try to hit the ball. The next pitch, 95-mile-an-hour fastball right to the middle of Andrew McCutchen's spine. And I think it was, in my personal opinion here, I think it was a gutless act by Kirk Gibson and the Arizona Diamondbacks reliever. And here's the reason why. If you're going to hit the other team's star, you do it in the first inning of the game. Now, the reason why he didn't do that, his starting pitcher would have got thrown. Why did he wait until the 9th inning? Once again, it's a meaningless game. They've got the game lost. So what? His pitcher gets ejected. He's available to play the next day. And I do believe that he was thrown at with an intent to hurt him. Now, ironically, you get hit with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and I'm telling you right now, it hurts. So he's bruised in the back. Andrew McCutchen plays Sunday, and in the 8th inning, swings, and maybe because of adjusting for the pain in his back from the hit, he ends up fracturing his rib, avulsion fracture of the 11th rib on his left side. Basically, what happened was the cartilage pulled away from the bone, and
I thought
Andrew
it was an
McCutchen's-
oblique.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's
that
not
was
an oblique.
false.
That was incorrect information.
Okay.
And
No oblique here.
so I was listening to an interview today with Clint Hurdle and with a orthopedic surgeon, and they seem to think that he said the usual time for recovery is 3 to 4 weeks. They haven't yet put Andrew on the DL list because they think that there's a chance he might be able to come back sooner. So what that did was that left them with a little bit of a quandary because now they have to bring up Starling Marte, and they need to find a roster spot. And lo and behold, the Pirates decided to send Pedro Alvarez on a bereavement leave. Now, I have no idea if this is legitimate or if it's not, and if if a member of his family has passed, my condolences go out to him and his family.
I don't mean to laugh.
But subsequently, that opens up a roster spot for Marte to start in center field tonight without putting Andrew on the DL list. They're waiting to see what happens before they do that. So there's a whole lot of goings-on with the Pirates, and how are the Pirates going to fare? 51 games left in the season, including tonight. We're a game and a half out of first place. We're right in the thick of things. Garrett Cole will pitch tonight for Indianapolis against Toledo, another rehab start. I'm interested to see what happens here. So there's a lot of interesting goings-on with the Pirates, and they're still in this pennant race, so to speak, and I can't wait to see what the next 2 months bring.
It's a good recap, and a game and a half out. I don't care what time of year it is. It's a pennant race.
Yes, it is.
That's how simple it is. Well, you covered all this stuff: baseball, boxing, football, basketball. I'm looking at Power. The Power,
Go down.
they lost their first playoff game by 6 points. So, I mean, congratulations to the Power. This
For
isn't
what?
the Power.
Congratulations for what?
A good season.
12 wins in a row.
Smoking Jim.
Making the playoffs for the first time ever, maybe?
Yeah,
Who
not on
pays
their loss.
attention to
Not on
arena
their
football,
loss.
man?
Unlike our ladies at the Pittsburgh Passion,
Yay!
they got
They're
two.
champs.
They're proclaimed champions of the Pittsburgh city, the county. We got to have them back
They're
on
winners.
the show to bring one of those
They're
trophies. there.
winners.
Big time winners.
They came back with the
Undefeated.
hardware.
Undefeated
They're
winners.
champions.
Just so you know that.
Undefeated champions.
And speaking of champions, we're going to go. John, can you get there? Here's history in the Lower Hill District.
Where you were born.
It's actually a couple blocks
That's
away. If you go up by Mercy Hospital there, we'll walk up to the street. Oh, you're going and we're not? No, we just got a late breaking news. We're going. You're not. We got to get you some tickets.
Gotta hook me up.
We just don't know what that new Pittsburgh Courier's doing with you. I need the game plan. What's it say here? It's blank. Oh,
Oh,
man.
there it is. They're calling in.
They're calling in.
Is that Rod?
Hello, caller.
Sammy.
Who is this? Hello?
Turn the volume up.
Turn the volume up, Levine.
Where's the volume at? I'll turn it up. Hello? That's about as high as I can get the volume up, folks.
I can hear him pretty good.
Let's try it again.
Hung up.
Take two.
Hello, caller. Who is this?
This is Samuel Vasquez Jr.
Not Sammy.
Hey,
Vasquez.
Sammy!
We were just talking to you. I'm holding up your Console Energy promo here that your dad gave me about a month ago, brother. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, no problem, man. What's going on?
We want to know how you're doing, how you feeling. I see all these promos with your kid, you boxing, everything else. You're looking great.
Hey, man, I feel great. I'm 110% right now, and I'm just ready to go. You know me.
You've been ready to go. I know that. This is really a great event in the Lower Hill District. It's history making, the first boxing match at the Console Energy Center. That alone got to make you pumped up.
Oh, man, of course, man. I mean, first time fighting at the Console Energy Center, and me being the main event, and I'm fighting for a title all at once. There's a lot of pressure, but it's great pressure, man. And I thrive off it. I'm excited that we're able to bring this, to Pittsburgh, to the Steel City, and represent something else.
Definitely.
Baseball, football, and hockey. There's also boxing.
Exactly. No doubt about it. You even got arena football that's around, so you're covering everything. I'm glad you're in the game there, and, we're rooting for you. We'll be there. We'll see you there, so we appreciate that. And I know it's going to be a great night. Mike's going to be there, your man Mike Tyson.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to be there. He's excited. I mean, the way he be calling me like we're best friends. Hey, how you feeling today, Sam? You feeling good? You ready for this fight? I'm like, hey, me, Mike, I'm always ready, man.
What's he calling you now? He has a name for you. what is it, like Sensational or something? Or
Sensational Sammy Vasquez. That's what he calls me.
right?
No, I like it. It sings.
No, he
He
likes
can never
rhyming
say
that
three-
stuff.
He can never say that 3 times fast.
No. Hey, Sammy, just like when I met him at that last press conference you had, he goes, the talking machine. I like that.
Yeah. Hey, you're
So-
right, man.
Anything that rhymes. So Sensational Sammy can. That's what I
He
say.
wouldn't if he was trying to get a word in edgewise.
No, I let him talk. Come on now. We can let him talk. So, you going to give us any analysis of this fight here, or any predictions,
I
or?
mean, for this fight, I'm just going in and going to box, man. I don't know too much on him, to be honest. There's no tape on him. There's, I heard he's slick. I heard he's fast. I heard he's a boxer, and I like to take him into some deep water as myself. I've been training hard, and if I can get him out of there, I'm going to get him out of there. But
Well, we've seen you in action all over the area, and we know the punch you have, and we know the boxing skills you have. This isn't your first rodeo, so we're just proud to be a part of watching you and rooting you on there, my friend.
hey, well, I appreciate you guys being a part of it, man. You've been there from the beginning,
Hey,
So,
hey Sammy, Zach Brenner, how does it feel to go from a little gym and court time to fighting in the biggest, newest arena that we have in the city of Pittsburgh?
how did it go from court time to Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
How's it feel? How's it feel to
How
you?
does it feel? It feels great, man. Obviously, again, a bigger venue, bigger, arena and things like that. But, ultimately, it's the fans that did it for me. You know what I mean? I put on my show. I do what I need to do as a sponsor. But, the fans, man, they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we need a bigger venue, and
That's a good thing. That's what we want to hear. Just like if you haven't got your tickets, make sure you get your tickets there. Let's sell this place out. Come on now.
get them there at Ticketmaster.com.
There you go.
Now, speaking of boxing in Pittsburgh, it was Rod Sulka that you made your debut on many years ago. What advice do you have for Rod Sulka that I could give him going into Brooklyn the next night, Saturday night against Danny Garcia, if any?
Hey, man, all I'm saying is people sleep on Rod. Rod's fast, and he moves, and he boxes good, man. There isn't much I could, tell him, but to do what he does best, and that's stick and move. And that kid, he's savvy, man. He's hard to hit, and Devin and Garcia, he has trouble with them type of fighters. So, if anything, man, Rogers, he needs to keep doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? And I think he's going to give Danny Garcia some problems.
Hey, that's good advice, Sammy. And just like it makes me proud to be from Pittsburgh and be involved in boxing like we are with Smoking Jim, Zach Brenner, and Chip Hayner here, we're just proud to be talking to young men, veterans, good family men, and you just show the character and the grittiness of this town here. And you're out there winning fights, and you're in the biggest spotlight around. It's just awesome. I wish you the best of luck on it, Sammy.
I appreciate you guys, and honestly, man, all of us fighters, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your guys, you guys putting us out there and letting people know who we are, and so we appreciate you guys just as much as you appreciate us.
Well, thank you.
Good luck on Friday night, Sammy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, have a good night. You take care, and we'll see you there. Can't wait to see you in action again.
We'll do. I'll make sure I put on a good show for you guys.
Oh, we can't wait. Take care.
All right, Sam.
Good luck, Sammy. Thanks for calling in.
Sammy
Wow.
Vasquez.
How about I was just ready to put this up? Unbelievable. I can't even put it up now.
Yeah.
You know I got to.
Why would
Oh,
you
my
put it
phone.
up when we
I
have
dropped
a
my
win?
phone again.
Poor
I
phone.
lost.
Even
That
losing
one will
your phone.
last it.
Let's not, I didn't get to mention
I
it
want to
yet, but we
talk
got
about
Monty.
Monty, My Life's a Movie, Mesa Clay. What happened? What happened, Smoking Jim?
We got Monty.
Can you hear me out there?
We got Monty fighting on this undercard of Vasquez on Friday night, and I tell you what, Monty still got a little bit of fight left in him for his age, and he's starting to make me feel old two guns. Still fighting.
And that's what's on my mind with an assist. I don't know who got the card. What the heck's going on?
He put his hand up.
You know what that reminds me of? Mad Max. And before Thunderdome when the kid threw that.
It stuck right in the corner, too, brother.
Did it? I got a
Hit it
good
up
arm.
against the wall.
Hey, and that's what's on our mind. We're going to revisit what's on our mind because we're halfway through this show. I can't wait for the revisitation.
Well, the one thing I would like to revisit is,
You're first man up.
yeah, well, just a couple of things with Chip. One is when you mentioned Kirk Gibson, reminded me of a quick story of Bob Gibson. They asked Bob Gibson one time. They says after he retired, he was at a banquet, and they said, Bob Gibson. They says, are you still competitive? He says, yeah. I just played my 5-year-old niece, a granddaughter, in a game of tic-tac-toes, and I won 100 in a row. So everybody laughed. So afterwards, they came. They says, you weren't serious about that. He says, no, I wasn't serious. She's 8 years old. So that reminds me of that. And that leads me to this.
What?
My 84 games may be still intact with Andrew McCutchen being out.
It's going to be tough smoking, Jim. We can revisit that a little bit. They have a good farm team now. You don't understand the talent they have in the system now. And some of these pitchers haven't overachieved yet.
Well, the Pirates is kind of running out of, dad aunts to, everybody they keep sending people down for bereavements.
And that, there's a lot going on with Pedro Alvarez. He's been, to be quite blunt, a huge disappointment this year. We know what kind of ball player he can be. We saw him play in 2012, 30 home runs, played inadequate at third base. Last year, led the league in errors for third baseman, but still he had 36 home runs with 100 RBIs.
Well, like you stated before, if you score runs or knock them in, then you can compensate for 25 errors, but not 28 right now.
But what's going on with him right now?
It's above that.
Nobody has any answers to what's going on. So maybe just stepping away from the game.
It's the easiest thing.
No, here's what I do. He didn't go to the minors when I wanted him
If
to.
you knew anything about baseball, okay, you don't put somebody that's never played first base
What's so hard about it?
first base in a pennant race, okay?
Because you're going to touch almost every ball.
Yeah.
You ain't got to throw it.
Yeah, he's right
Yeah,
behind
actually-
the pitcher and the catcher.
Actually,
Okay? They handle every one of them. He's
Now-
right after the
now I
pitcher
gotta
and the
the-
catcher.
The first
Think
baseman,
about it.
actually,
I-
the throws from the first baseman are much more difficult than the throws an average third
Now I
baseman.
have a
has to do.
legitimate question though.
Okay.
Why wasn't Kutch taken out of that meaningless game that we already had in hand in the 9th inning? Why was he still out there batting? And two,
I'll
is there
answer with
only a
question
15-day?
first.
Is
Wait.
there only a 15-day?
Why is Big Ben in every game?
Does it start with a 15-day disabled
Okay,
list?
So to answer your point, the game he got hurt in was a game on Sunday. That game, the score was 2-1. McCutchen had injured himself, hitting a sacrifice fly, bringing in the tying run in that game. So they were in a game. The game
That's what he gets paid
before. Okay, you run your starting lineup. He's your best defensive center fielder. Marte's out. He's in Indianapolis on a rehab stunt. You don't take your center fielder out of the game. I mean, you play the game to win.
And I think some of these young puppies here need to understand it's football season. Big Ben played every game this past year. I don't understand why. Some of them, they were out of it because they were winning, and a lot of them, they were out of it because they were losing. But he played every minute. My friend's son, young Bruce Grakowski, had to sit on the bench the whole year, and that's one of the toughest jobs because is he going to get hurt, or is he just going to do something crazy there and they'll tear a leg off because he's getting older?
If Bruce was still in Cincinnati, maybe he'd have got that $115 million contract.
We'll never know, but can I get an answer to
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
disabled list question? Does it start at
Yeah.
15
They
days?
can backdate it.
They can. Yes, it does start at
Retroactive.
15. They can make it retroactive to yesterday, or they can But
Or
what
they
they're-
can start it a couple days
But
ahead.
here's what happens. Once you put him on the 15-day disabled list, he has to stay on the 15-day disabled list for that period. Now, just because you're on the 15-day disabled list doesn't mean that you're only going to miss 15 days. Perfect example, Garrett Cole's on the 15-day disabled list. See, he went through 15 days of rest, then he started into a rehab program, then he went down to the minor leagues. So by the time Garrett Cole plays, he hasn't played baseball in a month. Okay, so
Tonight's his first start then?
tonight's his second start. Here's what happened. He had a start last Monday night, pitched very well. 5.5 innings, 81 pitches. Was hitting 99 on the jugs gun. He was supposed to throw a rehab assignment Saturday night in Indy, and they decided to forego that and to do a bullpen session. And basically, in a bullpen session, the pitching coach has you working on specific mechanical things in your delivery or in certain pitches. So he did that on Saturday. They worked on the things that they wanted him to work on, give him a couple of days rest. Now they want to extend him in this game. The last game it was 81 pitches. They want to get him up to 100 pitches, and then they want to see how he feels after doing this because, once again, we're in a pennant race. If you bring him up, we brought him up too soon last time and he got hurt right out the box. We want to bring him back. We want him to bring him back at the top of his game and feeling good. So it'll be interesting to see.
How long has it been since Garrett Cole played?
It's been a month.
How long has it been since he played good?
6 weeks.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, he was the Pirates' best pitcher before he went on the DL.
He was no Liriano. He was no Frankie.
His record was 7-4.
Since you're a baseball guy now, since Smoking Jim's a baseball guy,
and you haven't seen him
Ever
pitch
since
once.
he made that bet,
He's been on the Pirates for a year
in
and a
it.
half, and you haven't seen
He's
him pitch
been in
once.
it. He hasn't paid this much attention since Jackie Robinson.
and he didn't pay attention then. That was before his time. He didn't even have a Jackie Robinson card.
I went to the movie, 42.
42 times.
Can't wait to see that James Brown movie now.
That should be a good one, too.
Same guy starred in.
You never know what we're going to talk about. He has like Tourette's of sports. He goes from entertainment to sports.
Well, Jamie Foxx is playing Mike Tyson.
No, he's not.
Yes,
Really?
he is.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Are you serious?
With his head shaved, he might look good.
And with the
man.
they're gonna CGI his face with the tattoo when it comes to that part of Tyson's life. Yeah.
Jamie Foxx must have seen Belko to get on roids for the movie.
All those actors and actresses. Look at De Niro when he got big. You know,
And by
With
the
the
way,
Raging Bull.
Biogenesis, the guy from Biogenesis, Tony
Bosch.
Bosch, yeah,
He got picked up, turned himself in.
He got arrested today for.
Who snitched on him, Rodriguez?
Oh yeah, he
Probably,
ran,
but
dropped the
hey, I
time.
just want to give a shout out to Tiger Woods. I hope you get well as fast as possible.
hold it. That wasn't in the revisitation. That could be a separate golf
Tiger
segment
Woods,
or a Z
and
time.
You know what's going to happen this week?
Nice
the
for
fourth
lighting a
major of
fire.
the year, the Tiger isn't going to win.
Now that we make fun of a guy that was on steroids and
It's
PEDs and
the
everything
perfect
else,
segue.
that isn't right.
It's the perfect segue to the Pittsburgh Social Exchange's second annual golf scramble, which was at the Diamond Run Golf Course yesterday.
How's that perfect when we're talking PEDs?
I was talking about Tiger Woods.
We were talking
golf.
PEDs at this end.
So
and-
many good-looking girls there. I'm gonna take up golf.
Well, since we don't have a SIP sports bar, it was a great event. We were invited first by Bob Crescent with Empire Investigations. Smoking Jim was
fishing?
fashionably late.
Charles Barkley II.
Come on, no, Chuck.
And he's a gambler too. Barkley's a gambler
He's a
every
bad
hole.
gambler.
Yeah.
He has heavy money.
He is heavy.
He doesn't hold it long. That heavy money goes.
They called him the round man to rebound for nothing.
Exactly.
But we got to watch those 10 guys shoot for $1 million.
Empire Investigations, they sponsored one of the $1 million prizes. That's with Bob Crescent. Bella Sera, this great restaurant and banquet hall by Jason Capps.
Great
They
guy.
sponsored another $1 million shot. And the last one was National Brokerage with this Chris Dunham. And they sponsored, there were 12 chances to do it. They pulled names out. 2 guys got 2 chances to do it. So
And I'm not going to lie.
we filmed it. We had a
have it
cameraman
on
who
tape.
never filmed anything before.
To cut to the chase, they failed, right?
Miserably. Miserably.
Hold it. We wanted to get into depth on this one.
Yes.
There's a couple of them like, I never golfed. I mean, I've driven
would've
some balls
put
and
more
things
money
like
on
that.
Levine.
Yeah, I didn't like a game where you hit a ball and you got to chase your own ball.
You got the
That's un-American.
You got the complexion.
That's un-American. Thank you.
He
Thank
looks
you.
like he's from Florida.
Golf has
the
been
Hebrew
very,
hammer.
very good to me. Okay, but anyhow, these guys gave it their best shot, and it's on film. Zach Brenner took it. He's going for now. I want to announce his candidacy. He's now in the running for Rookie of the Year at BPTV. So he's got a couple votes already in after it was seen. Now, was it 100% successful out there? No, because we did a show.
Well, you did turn the microphone on, producer. Dave Cable called me in and said, Zach, everything was fine. The microphone was turned off on the table.
Well,
Who was the first one to hold the microphone?
Hold it. Listen to this. It was whatever you guys did with the microphone, because somebody had a little problem. He had this thing that grows in him and it gets out and then it's mean. He's like, we've got to get over here. They're all leaving. So he's asking me to come over there. When he's setting it all up, I was getting the cameraman who somehow left us. Then the second cameraman went and sat in a circle smoking cigars.
Left us.
And then this guy's yelling, we got to get over there. We ended up having a nice crowd after everybody left. And whoever handled the microphone from inside where it was fine, absolutely fine.
That's not what Dave Cable's findings
The
reported.
research that I did on it, there were some big paw prints on there. He didn't want Smoking Jim to get
Charlie
any of the
Carter.
limelight.
Charlie Carter.
That's what happened.
Internal sabotage, folks. And it wasn't by me.
There's a conspiracy, but he's still in the running for Rookie of the Year because I didn't hear any other rookie that's out there. But he has my vote. I don't care what story he says. But anyhow, it was a good event. They were giving away prizes. There's great sponsors all out there.
Great dinner. Jim Frazier got 2 plates.
Well, I'll tell you what, I never saw a guy come in a half hour late. Dinner was over. I said, please get in here, and a couple of the trays were empty. This guy went for chicken and mashed potatoes like nobody's business. I told him there's roast beef, and it's pretty lean. He goes, I just want it. It was full. By the time he was done, it was half full. It was a great event. Check it out next year. You'll see a lot of photos and film out there about it. A lot of great people. I know you did. Matter of fact, while you had that police escort, I'd still be on me in Sewickley. I don't understand, but you were safe. It was nice to see you there. Thanks for showing up. It's a shame there was no sound on it, but we did look good in the one shot I saw that didn't make the final cut. It had us there with the banner now. Thanks to Bob Crescent and the Pittsburgh Sportsline banner. Appreciate it there.
That look good. Do you got a fuzzbuster? Because you've been blowing by me going home, and I left about a half hour before you.
He got stuck in that traffic. It was road work.
And that's it for the special segment.
He was looking for his phone in the door.
Oh, yeah! You go for his phone for an hour and everything.
He gave me a head start, still passed you.
Well, here was Smoking Jim. He's listening to some R&B, blasting it out the windows. He's doing some James Brown. What was up with you? Weren't even hitting the gas pedal. He's up there doing this stuff.
You look like an Andretti.
That was a brother move,
I
right?
was an Andretti come flying by in that unsanctioned Nissan. You better watch out for that Nissan, pal.
And that's our segment on what a great event. The weather was fantastic. Shout out to Charlie Goddard and the Hoodbillies, and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
great guy with connecting people and doing all that stuff. And special thanks to Bob Crescent. We were on a fire truck. When do you ever see?
We?
Yeah. Me, Bob Crescent, and Rosemary.
Rosemary Skaggs.
Smoking Jim wouldn't go near that fire
If
truck.
it's got a siren, Jim ain't gonna be anywhere near it.
They got flashing lights and a siren.
He said, "Feet don't fail me."
They don't have fire trucks in Gateway.
Yeah, it was.
They
It
put out
was.
their own fires.
That was one of the few times I saw him go back to his track championship speed.
That's right. He did a
He moved right
440.
to the last tray of roast beef,
440.
and he had that extra. I go, do you want any broccoli and cauliflower? He went right to the potatoes, and they were good. Boom, boom.
He was moving almost as fast as Jarvis Jones.
No,
I think Jarvis Jones got him after those 2 plays.
no. You know what? He was ready to leave. We had to hold him back a little. He was almost gone.
He was catatonic.
All right, that's the fun we have. We ran way off the reservation. The Sandbox boys were throwing some sand on me there. I respect it. I was taught it's better to give, and usually I do, but I took it pretty badly on the chin here. Smoking Jim, we're going to go to Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, I had to alter my fiction and facts a little bit on the way in.
And traffic while you're driving at 60
Yeah.
miles an hour.
Yeah,
No
while
wonder.
I was driving, grooving R&B. but,
I caught him.
Cool jazz.
yeah, what's on my mind is over the weekend I hit it up to
Which
the Akron,
weekend?
this
This past
weekend,
one.
I hit it up to the Akron in Canton area. I wanted to really see Jim Kelly. I really wanted to. That was my desire to talk to Jim Kelly, but I couldn't get that close to him. But ended up running into my friend Greg Lloyd. Woo! So I was able to do a brief interview with Greg Lloyd, and I asked him, if he was ever interested in getting to the Hall of Fame. Now, which a lot of people don't realize, Greg Lloyd and Andre Reed are very good friends. He plays up in, Andre Reed is from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Played quarterback in high school and college before he was converted to wide receiver, and he gives a celebrity golf tournament to raise money for his foundation every year, and Greg Lloyd goes up. So that's the only reason Greg Lloyd was in town in the Hall of Fame, to hang out with Andre Reed. And he told me he doesn't give it a whole lot of thought in terms of the Hall of Fame. He said when he was playing football, he wasn't liked by the media, believe it or not. Wink, wink.
He didn't like them either, though. I remember that.
That's true. He didn't like anybody.
No.
And because, he says, because I didn't think it was fair for a guy that never done what I'd done come in and make comments on something I did. You know, Greg has a way with words. And he says, and these guys are the ones who gets to pick and choose who goes to the Hall of Fame. And it's almost like a popularity contest. And he dropped a little knowledge. He said guys like himself, Seth Joyner, and Wilber Marshall were hybrid players. Greg Lloyd says he rushed the quarterback, he stopped the run, and he had to cover passes. And he also says that now guys are getting into the Hall of Fame because they were asked to rush the quarterback, and you get into the Hall of Fame by
statistics,
the number of sacks. And he says he stuffed the run. He says in passing situations, he lined up at middle linebacker on passing downs and third down. He said he had to cover guys like Barry Sanders, Marshall Faulk, Eric Metcalf, and Thurman Thomas. And he says, hey, if you can cover Hall of Famers, why shouldn't you be a Hall of Famer? And I'd just like to add one thing to that list. Greg Lloyd, he mentioned Seth Joyner and Wilber Marshall, who kind of looks like him a little bit. But the greatest outside linebacker I've ever seen that's not in the Hall of Fame, the greatest I've ever seen was, let me back up. The greatest linebacker, all-around linebacker I've ever seen was Jack Ham.
Yes, sir.
The second greatest all-around linebacker I've ever seen was Clay Matthews.
Wow.
And Clay Matthews played about 20 years in the league.
Yes, he did.
Terrorized the league. And because he doesn't have all those sacks, because in the 4-3 defense, your defensive ends and defensive line goes after the quarterback, you have to do other things. And based on statistics, Jack Ham wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame today if he came around this era, because he wasn't asked to do a lot of those things. And like Chip said, it's a shame that the people who vote for the Hall of Fame treat Kevin Green like he's a black player, because there's no way a guy who has 35 more sacks than Lawrence Taylor, the all-time leading sacker in NFL history for linebackers, played on the hardest side to get the sack. He played on the left side instead of the right side. Is not in the Hall of Fame, and it should be a shame. And he's still working there now. And my guess is, one, Kevin Green flew out during the Super Bowl to WWE. That was one I think they're holding against him. And two, I think because he was choking his coach.
Does Greg Lloyd still coach at Chartiers Valley?
No, Greg Lloyd never did. That was Jason Gilden. They kind of look alike.
Jason Gilden was coaching at Seneca Valley, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he was coaching Peters Township, Seneca Valley. He coached a few.
And did Greg Lloyd Jr. ever make it to the league? Greg
Lloyd Jr. did make it. He didn't invite his dad to the celebration after his dad put the gun in his mouth when he was a kid.
Well, there is, just to correct you on one point, somebody who was a coach at one time, but became a member of the media that absolutely loved Greg Lloyd. And if you ever heard him speak of him, was Jerry Glanville, former
Yeah.
coach of the
Yeah.
Oilers and then,
Yeah.
and then the Falcons.
Yeah.
And unquestionably, like as early as 1988, he said he was the baddest man in the NFL.
Yeah, he held that title for a long time. I mean, he was.
Well,
Greg
Smoking
Rose
Jim,
was
while
there.
we're on your hero here, or at
And he
least
still teaches
your hero today.
Taekwondo and
Now, I know guys that
Georgia.
would work out and lift weights in the same gym as him, but they weren't allowed to do it when he was doing it.
Right.
Now, how did you get in that inner sanctum?
Well, one.
Because I know you lifted weights back then.
Well, one.
If you want to tell, if you're allowed. This is
Well,
investigative reporting
Well, I used
by
to lift
Al
weights
Levine,
at the
the talking
Bubby
machine.
I used to lift weights at the Clark Building at Bubby Brewster's.
Yeah.
Bubby Brewster's place. But,
I remember the Clark
But
building.
Greg Lloyd would walk through there every once in a while. I wouldn't speak to anybody. But
That wasn't unusual.
Donald Evans was a guy that I worked out with sometime. But Greg Lloyd was known. He had two Doberman pinchers.
Right.
And like you said, good reason the media didn't like him. He had two Doberman pinchers. And one time I'm at Three Rivers Stadium. If you remember Three Rivers, the officers were also in there.
Yeah.
And Greg Lloyd, when he wasn't bumping, he never would tell you, excuse me. He felt like if he was coming down and the media was
was
standing
his.
there, they should know and get out the way. So Ed Bouchette may be talking to Chip, and next thing you know, boom, because Greg Lloyd would just walk through.
I mean, he earned it the hard way. He worked hard at it.
But true story, one time I'm near, and I'm sitting in there, and at the time, you remember, the media could eat free at Three Rivers. So I would go there to eat, even when I wasn't part of the media.
The
and eat
steak was
free.
still good.
Free,
Smoking Jim, I heard the
steak. One time I see the media running. I see about 15 guys running, man. Greg Lloyd's Doberman pictures. He used to have two Doberman pictures, never on lease. They're chasing the media, man. They're running.
Because he told the Dobermans, you know what? You're going to eat for free today.
So Greg Lloyd was crazy, man. He was certifiably crazy, brother.
And now if you become
And
sane,
this was in the time and the era when Jim Frazier could do 30 reps at 225 pounds.
yeah. Hey, Smoking Jim, since we're talking about
That
Smoking
era's
Jim,
still going on.
we may have found a challenger. We may have found a challenger when we were out there. This guy's name is Juice. He's a teacher
Juicy.
at Carlington, so he'll get along with you.
Really?
Listen to this. You got to watch our video.
Okay.
He breaks a 40-penny nail. It's rather thick. He goes with a towel. He bends it, and he snaps it. He didn't do it one time. He didn't do it two times.
He was there?
He did it 3 times. He's only about 5'8", 5'9".
Wow.
But he's one of the strongest guys I've seen. My man Zach tried it.
I bent it.
He bent it.
You been it?
I
Wow.
started it.
Not the bend like he had, but he bent it. I mean, he's young.
That's amazing.
He doesn't tell many stories, so it's
Amazing.
good. And this guy, I asked him, now, he's a power lifter. He's done 770 pounds.
On what? Squat?
I think it's squat. I'm not sure.
Oh.
He doesn't bench press.
He don't bench press.
No. And I go, could you do 31 reps? Because he got to beat my man. He likes a challenge, so I'm giving it to you. And as strong as he is, what a beast he is, he had to think about that.
Yay!
So that may be the challenge.
I don't think anybody on the Steelers currently can do it. I think the Steeler record was 34.
I bet you
at
Joey
one time.
Porter could do it still.
Joey
No.
Porter when he ain't pulling LeGarrette Blunt off out of a fight. But I think the Steeler record at one time a few years ago was 34 reps. And the guy that did that's no longer on the team. So
And
Who's
there
that
you
name?
have
Is there
it.
way?
We got fiction. We got a lot of fiction. We got a little fact from Smoking Jim's
I
Almanac
may be
with
the
some
top. I may
assists.
be the top guy down there as far as reps.
You might. We're looking into it right now. We're researching it. All right, this is the latest. This is a new BPTV first. We've been setting a lot of them. It's Chip's trivia time with 9 minutes and 29 seconds and going.
Okay, and I'm not going to take all of it, so breathe a sigh of relief, one and all. Just to kind of stay on the baseball track that I had been on. Go figure. I would go to baseball. And the first one I bring up, because back in the day, baseball had a commissioner that had some cojones, okay?
Just don't go back to Judge Landis. They were
There
misinformed.
was a commissioner, and I think Alan will know very well what this man was responsible for, one of two things. But Fay Vincent
Yeah.
Took over the control of the commissionership after Bart Giamatti unfortunately passed
You're
away.
right. Early death.
And Faye Vincent is also the
gone.
man that banned Pete Rose for life and got him to agree to the banishment. But also on July the 30th, 1990, George Steinbrenner was forced to resign from the New York Yankees by Faye Vincent. And I don't remember the specifics of it, but that was a commissioner that was not afraid to make a decision.
Well, I think it was illegal contributions.
And unpopular decisions, because I mean Pete Rose was Pete Baseball, you know. Everybody thought the baseball world revolved around Pete Rose, but not so much.
Not
Then
at all.
you remember last week I was talking about Lou Gehrig, how he led the major leagues with 24
Zach remembers that.
Grand Slams. Okay, so Grand Slams seem to be something that's of note.
Yeah.
On July the 30th, 2006, Carlos Beltran became the first major league player to hit 3 Grand Slams in 1 month. Pretty amazing feat. Now, that takes me to another feat by another famous San Francisco Giant named Willie, but
McCovey.
not Mays.
McCovey.
Willie Mays batted third. Willie McCovey batted fourth. And for a decade or more, Willie McCovey was one of the most feared hitters in baseball. On August the 1st, 1977, Willie McCovey hit 2 home runs in a game, which wasn't such a big deal. One of those 2 home runs was his 18th Grand Slam of his career, which is still a National League record. Lou Gehrig has the Major League record and American League record of 24. Willie McCovey hit his 18th, and that is still a record. Also, this past weekend, I believe, or maybe it was last weekend, the inductees into the Baseball Hall of Fame were ushered in. And thing that struck me was that there was 2 pitchers from the same pitching staff, Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. Both got elected into the Hall of Fame, and one of the common threads between those 2 pitchers, they played for other teams throughout their career, but those are 2 pitchers that pitched on the same staff that had 300 wins. Well, going through some research for my events tonight, I ran across 2 pitchers who within short order of each other. First, Nolan Ryan on July 31st, 1990, won his 300th game. On August the 4th, Tom Seaver, this was of 1985, August 4th, Tom Seaver won his 300th game. And that made me think of something, because these 2 pitchers both broke in as rookies in 1969, and they were part of the pitching staff of the amazing Mets.
Yeah.
The Mets team, which 8 years earlier lost more games than any other team and was a hapless team, and the amazing Mets beat the Baltimore Orioles for the 1969 World Series. Nolan Ryan was a rookie fireballer who could throw the ball 100 miles an hour. You just didn't know if it was going to go on the right side of the batter or the left side of the batter, or if it was going to go over the batter.
Right.
And Tom Seaver was one of the greatest pitchers of the modern era. And the thing that I found most amazing about Tom Seaver, because I was listening to a sports conversation, everybody was talking about Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Oh, how does this correlate with Derek Jeter? Well, Derek Jeter will retire at the end of this year, and everybody says that he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. And most of some of the sports writers that I heard talking, who are the people that decide this, feel that he may become the first player in Major League history to be a unanimous selection to the Hall of Fame. And how does that have anything to do with Tom Seaver? Tom Seaver, at this point, has the highest percentage of votes ever for anybody elected into the Hall of Fame in Major League history, with 98 point something, okay?
Yeah.
And which is really kind of amazing when you think of the people that have made it into the Hall of Fame before Tom Seaver. Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth,
Honus Wagner.
Hank Aaron, Honus Wagner. Nobody has ever been a unanimous selection, and the reason why they feel Derek Jeter.
Willie Mays?
No, sir. Was not unanimous.
100%.
Because, see, everybody says that Jeter has got this squeaky clean image. The PED scandals never touched him. He's always had time for the media. He's always kissed babies. He's always held the door open for little old ladies. He's never had the image of being difficult to get along with. So 5 years from now, we'll find out if that's a prophecy or if that's just.
They don't deserve it. I like the long ball hitters.
Well, you know what? They
You
don't.
like Pete Rose too? Oh,
That's
man.
my favorite. That's my
Jim,
favorite.
you know what? You don't get any better than Derek Jeter. He's played for 5 world championship teams. He's been the captain of the Yankees, 3,400 hits. He's done it all, you know. So there you go.
I mean, home runs.
I don't know that number
Not
off the
power hitter.
top of my head.
How many Pete
Get on
Rose
Royce.
have?
Get on Royce. I guess.
Okay, now August the 4th, 1985. Besides Tom Seaver winning his 300th game, another Hall of Famer got his 3,000th base hit. That would have been Rod Carew. Rod Carew played a lot of his career for the Minnesota Twins, California Angels, back when they were the California Angels. And last but not least, there was a pitcher. This happened in 1980, so Zach, this predates you by a couple of years.
Whoa.
A fastball pitcher for the Houston Astros. I don't know if you recall him. J.R. Richard.
Oh, yeah.
J.R. Richard was a guy that could just really, I mean, he brought 100-mile-an-hour heat. He was one of the most dominant pitchers of that era. Well, on July 30th, 1980, J.R. Richard had a stroke on the field and underwent surgery to remove blood clots underneath his collarbone.
I only ever
He
know
lived
one
and he
JR
played baseball games,
from
but it was
Dallas.
one of the most frightening things that I ever saw happen. It didn't happen during a game; it happened during warm-ups. But he almost died. But there you go.
There's Chip's trivia time. He saved enough time for the 2-minute warning.
There you go.
Perfect timing. Zach Brenner, might as well close this up with Z time for about a minute and a half.
Well, I want Jim Frazier to do a fantastic job on Saturday at his paying
Which time?
kid in the
Which
afternoon.
venue?
The venue at Ivy, which has got Pittsburgh Boxing Club. I want to give a shout out to Teddy Marconja Jr., Teddy Marconja Sr., JB, Big Mike Shook, Conway.
How about the owners
Man
of
out of
Ivy
the
for
bull.
doing this?
Hey, you guys know them. Greg Rudolph, all the amateur boxers that are going to be fighting. Hopefully, like I said, Jim Frazier holds it down for us in the absence of his partner and his homie in crime, Al Levine, the talking machine.
It kicked me right to the curb for Angel Shafino. What a move.
That's a strong move too. That's a powerful move. Shout out to Miss Shafino. She's a class act. I always enjoy her Facebook offerings.
Those
Last but
selfies,
not-
you mean?
Yeah, last
Okay.
but not least, I'll just give a shout out to Sammy and Monty and Amonte and all the guys fighting a Friday night at the console. Then we got some gladiators at the cage on Saturday night, and we got tune in to Showtime Boxing late night on Saturday night in Brooklyn to see Rod Sulka make history against Danny Garcia. And I'll be safe out there tonight, folks.
All right, can we get quick here? 10 seconds each. Smoking Jim, I know you got a lot of events.
Well, I'll be at a couple events this weekend, and I won't leave any of them early.
I wonder why. Chip?
Real quick, 5 Pirate games in the next 6 days. I'll be sitting there enjoying them all. And shout out to the Pens. They re-signed Brandon Sutter, their third-line center, $6.6 million for 2 years. Way to go.
Nice. Go Buccos. I think they can do it without Kutch for a while. That's what good teams do.